Hello and welcome to Ninqueso Live episode 17. I am El Ninqueso and I am joined by my co-host, the donut giving Miss Bree.
I was very generous today, Bestie. Good evening. How are you?
She was generous, look. And I've still got 2 left.
Oh my God.
It's because I fell
Two left?
It's
That's
I,
unheard
it's because I
of.
fell asleep after you brought me back.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I haven't been awake long enough to eat them, that's why.
Oh, bless you. So for the fans, including the Barlet, who's probably in the chat.
She is in the chat.
Hello, Barlet. Welcome, lovely. So they'll know from your stream last night where you won a crown. Congrats.
I'm getting good at that.
Yesterday was your birthday.
6 crowns. It was my birthday. It's over now, so we've got another year before I have to worry about it.
So that's when we went out today and I bought you a 3-pack of donuts.
You did. I've eaten one.
I also got your birthday card, didn't I?
Yep.
Where is it?
In my basket on my bike.
Oh, what you like. Anyway, so yes. We went out today for birthday donuts. Well, to be fair, it's any excuse for a donut, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Exactly. You can't get through lockdown without donuts. Jeez.
Of course not.
Could you imagine how bad that would be?
For those of you who don't know, there is a 24-hour Krispy Kreme where we live, and it does drive through at all times of the day and night. Today was day, but we have done it at night, let's be fair. So happy birthday, Bestie.
That was yesterday. Man.
Happy donut day.
Thank you.
What have you been playing this week then?
This week I finished off The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening in an epic 6-hour stream.
That is indeed epic. 6 hours.
I feel like I'm almost prepared now for a 24-hour charity stream. Not that I'm going to do one anytime soon, because I don't have enough people watching me, but once I do...
Gameathon. That's us.
I'll be sitting here playing Flight Simulator. Just like, yeah, this is quite good. Just moving the control pad ever so slightly, every so often. Apart from that, I've not been playing anything new, unfortunately. Just started Paper Mario, the Origami King today. But I've already played through probably about 10 hours on that before, and I'm just starting over again. So hopefully I can whiz through that to get back to where I was. How about you?
I have done a bit of No Man's Sky. And some Skyrim.
Ew.
And
you like games with Sky in the title, don't you?
I do, yeah.
Like you don't play it. If it's not,
Sky
if it hasn't got Sky in the title, you refuse to play it.
Well, yeah, a little bit. However, I know we're gaming consoles, but on the gaming front, I have actually, yes, I have started Warhammer 40k gaming with the Boif. And we had a little bit of a test run last week where I just sort of had an outline of the rules. And then we started a big game when we have got literally like an 8x4 gaming table. And he set it all up and you could see his little face. He was really happy because he thought, oh, here we are. And 2 games in, I'm trashing his ass. I've taken out his 2 most important pieces and he's pretty sad. So we're just at the end of turn 3 and it's not going well for him.
He's going to tip the table over and storm off if you're not careful.
I want him to do that secretly, just to, because he's trying to make out he's a good sport at the minute, and he's so not. He's so hating every second of losing.
You know when he's doing his postmaning round, he's like pushing letters through letterboxes. He's like, damn everybody came.
I know. Yeah, he can't quite believe it himself that he's like losing so badly.
Have you got some loaded dice? Is that what's going on?
No, really. I'm just better at strategy than he is, to be honest. So this is what I said. This is what sets me ahead is my degree in psychology. I have an insight into human nature. So my spatial skills are better than his, this I know. But also most human beings are actually quite risk averse and he's no different. So that's what makes him easy to beat, to be honest. What was it you said earlier today?
I can't remember. I say a lot of things that are awesome.
Fortune favours the brave.
Exactly. Yes, fortune favours the brave.
He's not very brave.
Bless.
He relies on his disgustingly resilient save, that's all I can say. Anyway. To the news.
The quick news, the kind of news that we don't really want to talk about, but we feel we should mention. There's quite a bit of quick news today. I just kept finding quick news. It was like, I should mention that. Okay, here we go.
Get on with it quick.
Sonic the Hedgehog movie sequel is scheduled to start production in March next year.
Well, let's see.
Is X/13. The 13 remake was received so poorly that the 2003 original actually sold better last week in the UK.
That's bad, isn't it? That's really bad.
That is awesome, isn't it? It's like more people thought, do you know what? I'm going to buy the original than the remake. Doom Eternal for Switch will no longer receive a physical release. It will just be released digitally.
Shape of things to come.
Cyberpunk 2077 has a streamer mode that disables copyrighted music. Nvidia experiences record gaming console revenue thanks to strong demand for Nintendo Switch. Spider-Man game saves can now transfer from PS4 to PS5.
Yes.
And the PS5 controller is now supported on Steam. Pokemon Go's level cap is increasing from level 40 to level 50. I've still not even reached level 40 yet.
Last story of the Quickie News.
A sealed copy of Super Mario Bros. 3 on the NES has sold at auction for $156,000, setting a new record for most expensive game.
We did have a short conversation this afternoon on what we would buy with this, didn't we? And and my first thought was a really snazzy sports car, and yours was a house.
A house,
that just tells you everything that you need to know about the difference between us two.
Yeah, I need somewhere nice to live, not
a German-engineered super sports car. That's what sprang to mind for me.
And
anyway, let's go to the main
quick news. Okay, the main news.
So the Game Awards 2020 nominees are out,
yes,
Bestie.
We have got the nominations for the 2020 Game of the Year from the Game Awards. And those nominations are... Game of the Year is either The Last of Us Part 2, Hades, Ghost of Tsushima, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Doom Eternal, or Animal Crossing. And out of those, I've only played Animal Crossing and Doom Eternal, and I didn't like Doom Eternal very much.
I don't know. The Last of Us Part 2, I think, could be there. That's received 10 nominations across the categories. So for those who don't know, there are actually 23 categories.
Yes.
And Sony have been nominated in 22 of them, which is the next best to the record that Nintendo holds. In 2017, it was nominated across all 23 categories. But there are 75 nominations all in all. So, yeah, I think probably what we'll see... The hot favourite here, Last of Us Part 2.
It's going to come down, I think, between The Last of Us Part 2, Hades, I don't think, Ghost of Tsushima, maybe.
Possibly.
I think it'll be between The Last of Us Part 2 and Animal Crossing. It depends what they want to define as Game of the Year. If you're talking about the most important game of the year, then Animal Crossing is without a doubt the game that has saved 2020 and not made us all quivering heaps in the corner. The whole fact that, like you say, you could still interact with your friends, you could visit their islands and have like conversations. The fact that we've got like talk shows have come out of Animal Crossing. The fact that it was used in presidential elections, to the extent that Nintendo has actually had to like issue guidelines on the fact that you can't do that. No, you can't use our game for trying to get yourself elected into office. So if it's like...
I believe a certain orange baboon would try that.
Orange baboons want to get elected too, and obviously The Last of Us Part 2 had that controversy when it first came out with the story, because there was a bit of controversy over one of the characters in there because people don't like it when they're not heterosexual and...
I don't know. I mean, what an avatar does with its genitals, it's not something I genuinely want to think about, frankly. I don't care.
Yes, so there are lots of other categories. Best game direction, we've got a few in there. Best narrative, best art direction, best score and music, best audio design, best performance, games for impact. Don't even know what that
the award
means.
ceremony airs on the 10th of December, and there are segments coming from both Hollywood and London.
Yes, obviously it's all going to be online this year.
Online, yeah.
Because that is the way this year is.
That's the way it all is this year. The entirety of 2020 is online this year.
Yeah. Just glancing through this, I'm a Nintendo fan. Apart from Animal Crossing, there's not a lot of Nintendo games. Best family game, Animal Crossing, Crash Bandicoot 4, Fall Guys, Mario Kart Live, Minecraft Dungeon, Paper Mario, The Origami King.
Fall Guys.
I don't know, because it's like there was a Fall Guys actually released. I don't think it was for the Game Awards. I think it was for the Golden Joysticks or something. They were like, we've been nominated for Game of the Year. Votes here. And I I clicked the link and I ended up voting for Animal Crossing.
Oh.
It was like, it's between Animal Crossing and Fall Guys. But at the end of the day, I think Animal Crossing is a better game. There's more depth to it. It's not, best sim strategy, best sports racing, best multiplayer. See, Fall Guys, I think, should win probably best multiplayer.
Fall Guys is great to watch on stream because it's funny.
Call of Duty Warzone is probably going to win that.
Probably, yeah.
Best
we're back online with that. He's back attempting to kill people.
Is he winning
being
games
killed
yet?
in the process.
Is he winning games yet? Best esports athlete. That's the thing. Best esports team. Best esports event. Best esports host. Yeah.
Anyway.
That's why there's so many categories.
23 different categories, 75 nominations, and it all comes down to the 10th of December.
Yes, where we will find out what is Game of the Year in some people's opinion.
So, moving on. Tell me about Japan's top-selling Nintendo games.
Japan has revealed its top-selling Switch games in 2020. We're going to start at the top because there is absolutely no surprise what the top-selling game in Japan is in 2020. I mean, it's Animal Crossing, New Horizons. What is, I think, a surprise is the number 2 game, Ring Fit Adventure.
I know, right? I looked at that. I was like, OMG.
I know it's done really well. It's like, do you remember when Wii Fit came out? It kind of got that momentum because everyone was like, Wii Fit. It's kind of what's happened in the East with Ring Fit Adventure. And I know it's sold quite well over here. But the thing I think with Ring Fit Adventure, from what I've seen, it actually looks more like a proper exercise game than Wii Fit.
Right. Well, this is the thing. Obviously, my sister got Wii Fit.
Yes.
And I had a go on it, and quite frankly, I was appalled. Being a qualified personal trainer, strength and conditioning coach, and a yoga teacher, it hit none of my bases. Absolutely zero.
It was like the more fun things to play on it with the games where you're hula hooping, you're doing circles and things.
Yeah.
On the actual bounce board, the only things it could really gauge was you trying to keep a central weight on the board when you're trying to hold a yoga pose. And even that, it was just like, meh.
As a yoga teacher, I will just say to you, no.
The thing with Ring Fit Adventure is, it's like it's a adventure RPG style game. So to get to your destination, you have to hold the thing up and jog on the spot. That's your cardio. Once you're actually in a fight, you literally have to do things like, and you have to do it in time with what it's telling you. So it'll be like squat, hold, up, squat. And the harder difficulty, the more reps you have to do. So it's like...
But...
Yeah, I know. I'm a PT as well, I know these things. But I'm saying...
what I was going to say is the reason why this is up there at number 2, that's what I was going to say, is because everybody's got chubby in lockdown. Not because it's a fabulous game, Bestie. Let's be honest about this, because, and let me just put this out there, as a PT here, right? There are worse things you can be than fat, right? There's lots worse things you can be than fat, but it is troubling people. People feel, oh my God, and definitely the pressures of lockdown and everything else have caused a lot of people to comfort eat. And, I think what I'd say is this is short term. By the time we get to next spring, things will be looking better and you'll be out there and exercising. But in the meantime, people are panicking and I'm doing online workouts. I'm buying a computer. The PT side of me is just like facepalm. I can't deal with this. But on the other side, the human is understanding where they're coming from. I get it.
All I'm saying is, I actually, out of every sort of exercise game that I've ever seen, I think this is probably one of the better ones because it's mixing cardio with resistance. This
is your PT opinion, is it, Bestie?
Yes. You know, I'm not going to say it's like get Ring Fit Adventure, that's all you ever need to do because that'll be perfect for you. No, it's not going to be perfect.
But it's better than sitting on the couch.
But it's better than sitting there doing nothing.
Actually, the nice, good people out there, I am not taking the P when I say PT because Bestie is actually a qualified personal trainer also. He specialises in a slightly different things than I do, but we are both qualified.
It's just more balanced than a lot of things that I've seen. It's like Box Fit on the Switch where you hold Joy-Cons and you just like punch into the rhythm kind of thing. That's all it really is. Whereas this is a body weight complete workout, and you get a ring with it as well, which has got, apparently I've not ever held one, but it's got a fair amount of resistance, so you have to push it in, you can pull it apart, so you've got resistance there as well.
Right. And you know, to me, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for those movement patterns: a squat, a hinge, a push, a pull, an overhead press,
that's what I mean.
Rotation.
If you actually look at what you have to do in the game, you've got all of these things. And it's also, it's not just do 10 squats. And it's like when I used to do wrestling training and you go to some of the classes and like do 10 squats and they're just like doing repetitive, you know, down and not even doing a full motion. This is actually saying you have to do it at the right speed, and you have a Joy-Con strapped to your leg as well, so it knows how low you're going down and things.
So we are not a fan of the quarter squat, are we, Bestie?
No. What's the point? And like you say, it's not just it's going you down, like bringing you down slow. It's pausing you at the bottom, and then you're coming up quick.
Ooh, slow negative, go to parallel.
Yeah, it's like if you actually look at it, they've definitely had input from people that know what they're talking about and have tried to make it so that, I mean, it's like when you run a fitness class, you can't have it personalized for people, but you want this broad general fitness that people can get and enjoy. And but that's number 2. we got stuck on Ring Fit Adventure here. That came out in 2019.
That's because we like doing
exactly
training.
I mean, I would never get it myself. Number 3, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, that came out in 2017, and it's still the top selling this year. Number 4, Pokemon Sword and Shield. Number 5, Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. I think there's another surprise one here at number 6. Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics.
Yeah.
It's a crazy game, that one. Because that came out this year, and I think it's been overlooked by a lot of people, but it's nice to be able to like play like Ludo online with, you're bored, you've got 5 minutes, so I'll just go online, find someone that's playing one of these games, have a card game against someone. Or
I've got a bit of a problem with that.
What?
Well, this last week I've started playing Scrabble online.
Okay.
Which is great because I played my daughter and that's really, really well. But you can also play other people, randoms, right? And that's the key word here, randoms. Do you know what I'm going to say, don't you? So the Scrabble has got a chat function, and it took roughly 48 hours for some happy little boy from Ohio to, do you want to make the game more interesting? Right, shall we leave it at that, given that this is a family-friendly show?
Clubhouse Games on the Nintendo does not, I repeat, does not have interactive chat.
I'm up for it then.
This is why Nintendo games don't tend to have interactive chat, because they do not like that kind of thing. And they're family games. They know kids are going to be playing them. So if you want to chat, you have to go through a Discord, or there is that chat app for things. But you can't talk to who you're playing at.
No, and I must admit that Jen said the same to me, is that, you know, she gets random blokes. You see, this is why you can't have nice things, because...
Exactly. But you can play like...
blokes out there.
You can play the artsy on it and things with someone, and you can't speak to them. So you're just sitting there like...
See, that's ideal. That's ideal, isn't it?
It's nice. Super Mario Party is at number 7. Super Mario 3D All-Stars is at number 8, which only came out in September. And it's already number 8th best-selling 2020 game.
Wow.
Number 9, Minecraft. And number 10, Splatoon 2. Which I don't know, I never really got into Splatoon 2.
No.
I do have it. But it was a bit like
Moving on.
what we're doing. PlayStation teases up.
So PlayStation.
Yes, they've been teasing about their answer to Xbox Game Pass services.
Oh, well, actually, it's Jim Ryan that's the teaser, really. So
Yeah,
the
this is true.
CEO of PlayStation.
Yeah.
So it's basically the answer to Game Pass. Now, Game Pass, for a relatively small subscription, gives you access to 100 games.
They're advertising now well over 100 games plus EA access. EA access games as well.
So I'm kind of like, okay, this is going to be PlayStation Now, and I am feeling like this is trying to keep up, but I'm not sure how far it'll go. So this is for the PS3 and the PS4, and unfortunately, it's going to be mainly older titles, and it won't have the same perks. And I'd like to say that the perks for Xbox Game Pass are pretty damn good because I'm watching The Mandalorian as part of one of those right now.
PlayStation Now is already a thing, but it's like, I know last year they did put God of War on there for like a month, and then they're like, no, we're taking it off. That's the thing. It's like Xbox is dedicated to their Game Pass. That's the route they want to take. So, any game that they make that comes out day one, it is on Game Pass, and it stays on Game Pass. So, and that's the kind of different business models that Sony has to Microsoft. Sony will push a big game when it comes out to try and sell consoles and to get that £70 money. Because if you look at Sony games, they come out, they're full price, and within 2 months, they'll already drop down to like about, they come out at 60, within about 2 months, they've dropped down to about 45. Within a year, they've dropped down to, like 30 a lot of the time or less. So they don't hold their value. They go for this big sell of, you really need to play this game now, is kind of what they want. And if they were to just put it on Game Pass, I don't think it would quite work.
No, it's not.
I mean, they've not really said anything. The only actual, where's the quote? There is actually news to come in regards to PlayStation's answer to Game Pass. Ryan also pointed out that Sony does have a subscription service through PlayStation Now. We do have one. It's PlayStation Now. And you can play some PS2 games on there. You can play PS3 as well, but you have to play them through the cloud because we can't emulate them on anything other than the PlayStation 3 because we went weird with the architecture on that one, and we just can't replicate them anywhere else.
Yeah, I think the different business model is a very astute observation by you. They're at least trying to offer something, but it's really not there.
It is, and I think this whole statement is more like, it was brought up in conversation, and they were just like, no, we've got some exciting news coming, don't worry. Whereas they don't really have much. I don't think there's going to be any revolutionary new PlayStation subscription service. I think it'd be nice if PlayStation Now suddenly grew to include all of their back catalogue kind of thing, so you could play other games like from the PlayStation 1 era, PlayStation 2. Yeah,
it's not though.
You got the stream, but I don't know. It's like, I don't think that's their focus, and I think it's more of like just a reassurance statement rather than anything else.
Yeah, I just don't feel that they've got anywhere to go with this that's like super special. I think this was kind of a bit of a side comment, say we're just as good.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Cool.
Anyway, so let's have a look. Speaking of Nintendo,
yes.
Another cease and desist. They're pretty shirty these days.
Well, this is the thing. There's a competitive Smash Brothers competition that happens annually. This is an annual event.
So it's a tournament, really.
House,
that's what we thought.
And obviously, it's 2020. People can't get together for this, so they're doing it online. And one of the games they wanted to play was Super Smash Bros. Melee, which is a GameCube game. And the only way they could do that online was to use emulation and I can't remember the name of the client, it's probably in here, and this special client so they can play it online.
So it's a mod called Slip-In.
Yeah. And so basically Nintendo is like, well, look, you can't prove that everyone that's playing this owns a copy of the game, so you're not allowed. Because
Yeah, because it does require a copy of Super Smash Bros. Melee, and most people, it's going to be a legal copy, so that's
Yeah,
it.
and
So yeah, they issued a cease and so this actually is the longest running US tournament, by the way,
yeah,
which is interesting. So what what's being said by Nintendo is that they reached out to the organizers and that they refused to cooperate with them.
I know.
So
I've
they left them no choice.
I've
I don't
heard
know how true that is.
I've
They said the tournament organizer said that they did try and work with it.
yeah. I mean, I've heard a couple of points of view on this. Kind of, it's like, well, come on, it's 2020. There's a pandemic going on. Couldn't Nintendo just make an exception for this one time? But on the flip side of that, it's like, well, it's 2020. It's a one-time thing. Why couldn't this competition just not have Melee in it this one year? Because they're still playing Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, like the latest one, and that's online anyway. So if they had gone, okay, we're going to drop Melee, this would still be happening. And
Yeah.
it's just, yeah, a Nintendo could have made an exception, but yeah, the company could have made an exception. And everyone
Yeah.
knows how protective Nintendo are of their intellectual properties. They're not
Oh,
going to want people
they are
using
beast
ROMs and things.
worthy.
And yeah, it would have
Mm.
been nice because obviously these people that are in this competition are massive fans of the Nintendo games. So the fact that they're still playing
Yeah.
a GameCube game that came out early 2000s, that it proves how much they like that game. And
Yeah.
so I have heard
And it's interesting here that they have, obviously they've got a hashtag. So the hashtag Free Melee has now evolved into hashtag Save Smash.
but
So there are 22,000 tweets and it's trending worldwide. So
yeah,
that made me laugh.
but it is. I mean, I guess there is no good reason other than they don't want people using emulation for them, because there's one tweet here: Nintendo, please wake up. Is there actually a good reason for you to say no to all the opportunities that you have with Smash? But on the flip side of that,
Well,
is there really a good reason why the tournament has to include Melee this year? I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. Personally, I don't.
you'd have to ask the tournament
Personally,
organizers.
I don't really care either way. Smash is good, but you know,
It's
it's a
not the be
game.
all end all, is
It's a
it?
game at the end of the day, and you know what Nintendo's are like, so why would you even try? That's
Well,
the
yeah,
way I'm looking
fair
at it
point.
from. I'm not saying
Fair
what
point.
Nintendo are doing is right. I mean, what they're doing is totally legal because they own it. Would it be nice if they decided, no, that's okay? But the problem is,
Are they in?
the moment they do that, it sets a precedent, and other people will be like, well, if they did it, then maybe
Yeah.
we can. So
Yeah, they're opening the floodgates.
it
And then
is what it
the other
is.
thing is like Nintendo aren't in business to be nice, are they?
No, no company is in business to be nice. Every company is in there to make money. You know,
Absolutely. This is capitalism,
and
folks. This is capitalism.
Nintendo letting this tournament happen. What's in it for them? What money are they making? Is how they're looking at it. Apart from a bit of good PR, like, oh, that Nintendo's okay.
They don't need that
They're
level of
already
PR, to
selling
be honest.
like they're already
Yeah,
like
exactly.
doing really well
Anyway.
this year. So yeah, so hopefully you weren't looking forward to this competition because it's not happening.
I wasn't. Anyway, shall we talk about Capcom?
Yes, Capcom. I
'Cause this
mean,
is quite interesting, isn't
it
it?
is. I kind of missed the whole main point of this story. It kind of broke just over a week ago, and I didn't include it in last week's episode. But Capcom,
So, for those who don't know, Capcom have been hacked,
yes, they were hacked
and it's a
by,
major hack.
as they say, a terrorist organization because they're trying to blackmail them. So they've taken a terabyte of information from Capcom, and they wanted lots and lots of money, or they were going to start revealing this information online. So obviously Capcom just said no, we don't negotiate with terrorists. And the first leak has actually happened, where they've actually started putting out like a list of, I think it's probably for the next 3 years of what Capcom has in plans for games that are coming out.
It does actually go almost 4 years into the future.
Yeah.
And I should just say, we are not going to read this out.
Yeah.
And we've taken that editorial choice between the two of us that we are not going to release this data that has been hacked.
It's
not because, we're sort of like, don't think the occasional hack is terrible. But here we are. Well, you explain, Bestie. You explain.
In my personal opinion, it is awkward because obviously this is news, and all of these games that are meant to be coming out is also news. But I feel
the big names as well. They're big titles.
If everyone decides to start saying what has been leaked, you're just enabling the hackers to get what they want. So I don't feel it's ethical for us to sort of start saying these are the games, these are when they're meant to be coming out, blah 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 blah. Your picture's gone, by the way.
Oh. Well, from my point of view, it's kind of like, okay, when there's a hack and they just release some data, then I'm like, I have a fairly well, whatever. But this, they've tried extortion, because what they've done is they've taken this data and then they've demanded money for the data. Or now that to me is crossing some sort of line there. When you're trying to extort money out of a company, threatening with threats, at the end of the day, casting your eyes over this list, and I've seen this, mentioned elsewhere. It is, let's just say it's the most over optimistic fan made hoax you could ever dream of when you looked at this list. So I have my doubts as to how authentic it is anyway. But I just feel like, this was an attempt at multi-million-dollar extortion.
Yes.
And I'm not impressed with that. I'm not going to enable it. I'm not going to pander to it. I don't want to be a party to that.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, there's a difference between someone hacking and then releasing a Nintendo's making Mario Kart 9 that's coming out this year, and that's just a rumor kind of thing. You don't know where they got the information from, but they haven't gone, if you don't give us £1 million, we're going to tell everyone about this. Let's be straight with this as well, with the hack. It is not just their game schedules that these people have hacked. They have got the personal information of employees. They've got CVs of employees. They've got any data that would be stored on a computer at the company. They have taken. And we're talking about a terabyte of information, which is a lot of documents.
I mean, this could be IDs of employees.
It will be IDs.
It could be medical records. This is a little bit more than just a simple hack.
Yeah.
This is whole scale, manipulation of people, not just the Capcom, the company.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll keep you up to date on what's going on with it, but obviously, Capcom are not going to pay them this money. How far they will go with the leaks when they realise that, we're not actually going to get anything from this
who knows?
Is interesting.
Who knows?
I've no idea.
But let's give some good news for Capcom.
Some good news for Capcom.
They're releasing a mini arcade system.
They are releasing a mini arcade system.
Amazing.
I've lost you totally now. I can't see you at all.
Oh, bummer.
I can still hear you.
Well, that's all right, isn't it?
But it's like, no, there's just a blank white screen there. I need to get a picture there or something. Yeah, you should be. Anyway.
Well, I think it's your end.
It's not my end. My end is beautiful.
Anyway, so Capcom are releasing a mini arcade
system. They
system.
are releasing a mini arcade system, and it looks absolutely atrocious. It looks horrible. It's a rectangular box with a TV stuck on top.
Oh dear.
I don't like it. I do not like it. I mean,
honestly, I looked at this and I thought the arcade system that you built me was way better.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. Okay.
And see, ladies and gents, that's the good thing about having an amazing bestie, is he'll build you your own arcade system.
It's cute, apparently, according to Bartlett. I don't know if that "it's cute" is regarding this or not, or whether she said that earlier. It's yeah. But that's not the important thing. The important thing, looks aren't everything. I mean, look at the PS5. Looks aren't everything.
You're so Itchy.
I just hate the PS5. It's awful.
It is, yeah. I agree with you there. Okay.
So the games that are on this thing, this abomination against nature, pretty much, if you don't like Mega Man and you don't like Street Fighter, you do not want this. It weighs 2.1 kilos. Okay, it comes with Mega Man, the Power Battle, Mega Man 2, the Power Fighters, Mega Man X, Mega Man Soccer, Mega Man and Bass, Japanese console version, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2, I missed that word, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Super Puzzle Fighter Turbo. So it's basically a Mega Man, Street Fighter. Yep, Barlett says it's the little box. She likes it. It's cute.
Oh.
Well, at least it appeals to some people. For me, not so much.
I mean, really, the games on it are rubbish. Let's be honest. That's that's the thing.
Street Fighter's all right, but you don't need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 versions of Street Fighter. Do you know what I mean?
No,
right.
Not really.
Right.
Shall we talk about the Super Mario's Brothers Game and Watch and what that's going to run?
The Super Mario's Game and Watch that has been hacked. Remember last week we told you it had been hacked before it had even come out? Well, now it can play Doom. It's like everything can play Doom. Everything can play Doom.
Absolutely.
So it's actually been hacked and Doom has been put onto the Game & Watch. So I'm just like getting a picture up to go where your video should be. That's all.
What picture are you putting in there?
Yeah, you'll see when you watch the podcast back.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
So it plays Doom. I mean, really, like we said before, this is a collector's edition item that's going to sit in the box anyway. So it's neither here nor there, is it, frankly?
No, not at all. It's what you wouldn't want to hack it anyway.
Anyway, moving on.
They're updating the photos and I can't actually... What do you mean moving on? That's the last story, isn't it? Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about this last thing,
we said we were going to talk about your sad experience this afternoon because we feel like people might be interested in the fact that you were denied.
I was.
So what happened first thing?
What happened is like I noticed this morning on the Twitter that Currys was going to be selling the Xbox Series X at 1 p.m. And I was like, oh, a 1 p.m. Xbox Series X potential to get one. Not that I had much hope. So there I was sitting there. About 5 to 1, I started like just on the site, just refreshing it. And, absolutely nothing happened. It really... I didn't even get to see the option to buy an Xbox until after they had sold out. And then, apparently Game had them in as well, but they had started selling them earlier. So I got into a queue on Game, and no,
that was when we were actually eating donuts, wasn't it?
But they had actually sold out, so it was kind of like, oh, great.
And you did have that experience where you actually had it in your basket for a very brief time.
No, not this time. I got it in the basket last time, but I tried to do one. But this is rubbish. I can't even bring a photo up because it's updating.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so it's kind of just like, I get they're going to be hard to get, but I do not understand why I can't go onto Game, pre-order one, and get it when they have the stock, even if that's like 10 months down the line. Why do I have to be limited to them having a couple of thousand in that, let's be real, they're not going to people that want them. The majority of people who are getting these are electronic bots that are flipping them on eBay for anywhere, up to double the amount.
So how many was it you were telling me earlier on that the bot system actually had snagged for the one company?
I saw a story earlier where... Because basically, people have got these bots and... So they've actually subscribed to a service that gives them the bot that helps them use it and everything. And they reported that this one subscription company bear in mind there were more than these, and this is just in America. They'd got about 2,500 PlayStation 5s, and they got about 1,000 in the pre-orders. So that's like 3,500 systems that people don't have any intention of playing for themselves, that they just want to put onto eBay and make obscene amounts of money for.
These are the prices have gone up by $200 or $300 in some cases, haven't they?
It's like I've not really looked much at PlayStation because I want an Xbox first. The Xbox Series X is £450. I could go onto eBay now and buy one, but I'd be paying anywhere from there's auctions where they've got bids on them and they're about 650 and they've still got a few days left.
That's pounds, isn't it?
Yes. And there's buy it nows that are sort of anywhere from £700 up to, there was one ludicrous one that was like 2,000. And
they are changing money for this £700-800 as well.
People are buying them. That is the problem, because people are buying them. The scalpers are going to keep getting them, and the companies like Game, Currys and that are selling them, it's not an issue to them because they're selling their consoles and then they're just being sold on. I get, everyone wants to make money and stuff, but the fact that people are enabling these things, and the worst fact is that the fact that you cannot pre-order a console and just be on a waiting list for when the stock arrives, because let's be real, there will be stock at some point of the Xbox Series X, of the PlayStation 5. At some point in the future there will be stock, so why do I have to try and grab it in a minuscule moment? Like today I was refreshing and I never even got to see the option to put one in my basket until after they had sold out, because the websites are crashing, they're going down because so many people are trying to do it. If I could just go into a shop now and go, look, here's my £450, when the console's ready, send it to me, even if that's 6 months down the line, I don't feel that this scalper thing would be much of an issue, because of the way they're trying to sell PlayStation 5s. Sony have already said that there's not going to be any PlayStation 5s in shops this year at all. The only place you can get them is online. And if they're just drip feeding them in, yes, some people will be lucky and get them, but the majority will go to these scalpers who are just trying to turn a profit on it.
And it's like we've said before, even if you had one in your basket, the bot can check out so much faster than you can that the stock is gone. And this is what I said. Bessie and I discussed this earlier on, so I'll quickly go over the discussion. I said the problem about this is that the people who are setting up these online purchases, and I'm talking about your Game, Tesco, whoever it is what they're trying to do with this online purchase is they're replicating what happens in store, where you go in, you pick up something, you go to the checkout and you pay. And this is really such an old-fashioned way of doing it. And in reality, what they need to do is go and talk to, people with more of an idea of how the online space works and what's possible with it. Because why should we be replicating that process online? Because it's the least efficient way of doing it. And this happens in sort of a lot of arenas. It's not just buying consoles. It's all across various different spaces. There's no thinking outside of the usual way of doing things. They're just taking the real world and trying to transfer it into cyberspace. When there are, you think outside the box, there's much more efficient and user-friendly ways of doing this. But unfortunately, what they do is they're employing people to do, really just to replicate stuff that's already exists, instead of giving them that, finding some really good forward-thinking coders who are going to take a completely new approach and say, what is the best experience that we can give to the customer that's going to stop these things from happening, and then write a whole, completely new system. But as you so rightly say, Farron, as long as they're selling the consoles, really, do they care? No, I think once we start to see the next generation, and I know, for us, we are the last generation, but, there are going to be whole sets of, next generation coming up who have lived their life with a smartphone in their pocket with different ways of doing things. I mean, back in the day, obviously I bought vinyl, but now there's streaming services and things move very quickly through CDs and downloads, and we had Napster and all the rest of it. But there are people now who have never known any different, and unfortunately, they're the people who are going to make choices as to whether these retailers live or die because of their online experience.
Yeah, and this whole launch has been
disastrous.
It's been awful. I get it's the whole 2020 COVID and all that. We can't just go into a shop and buy stuff, but the way things are being sold at the moment, it's just making it impossible.
There had to be a better way of doing it than this.
I've never had this issue before. It's like I got my Switch on day one. I got my Nintendo Wii U on day one. I got a Wii on day one. I got a GameCube on day one. And this does really concern me for when the next Nintendo, because I am a Nintendo fanboy. I love my Nintendo and I love getting them early. And if this is a representation of where we're going, it's like, you might not be able to get, if everything just keeps getting drip fed, this shortage is going to be prolonged throughout 2021.
Well, they've just got one foot in the past, haven't they? They're trying to move into the future before they've thought it through completely as to how do we deliver this in an efficient way when we are more and more going into the digital space. And they haven't done that. The solutions are not there. And, they're not. They're going to lose out because of it. Really, they are. Yeah.
So, come on. I mean, I don't even really know who's... this is Microsoft and Sony's fault, isn't it, really? By the way they're drip feeding it in, and the fact that, I'm still... My mind is still blown that I can't just go onto a list and get a console when it is ready. Even if there's 10,000, like 1 million people in front of me and it is going to take 9 months, at least surely, I know I would get one. Whereas now,
let's be honest, the resources that somebody like Microsoft has, let's think about this. They dropped $7.5 billion for Bethesda just without even thinking about it. So the level of resources that they've got, they could set up their own retail space that did this with 1 million, long list of people. And what they'd be better doing is, like you say, let's set up this list. We'll take your money. We'll just tell you when it's dispatched.
Yeah, and just keep an update on it.
There'll be loads of people willing to do that.
Yes,
and they have the resources to do it, but they're failing, they're falling down, and that's when I think we've seen this in the past when senior executives have come out with stuff that we personally, as oldies as we are, have said, "What are you doing? Which century are you living in?"
Well, that's it,
and that's the problem, is they're behind. They're trying to push a brave new boundary, but they're not ready yet.
If I knew that I'd have to wait 6 months and I'd definitely be able to get one then, like you literally get the way I would like it, pre-order, get a ticket. I am number 1,229,029 in the list. Once a week, I get an updated email with where I am in the list, kind of thing. You are now here. You are now here. If I see one in the shops, I can just buy one and then cancel that order.
But that would also make their supply chain so much easier.
They would know exactly how many they go in. But the fact, and let's be real here as well. The fact that we're going back to these bots things, there was different subscription services that you could get for these bots. The top one was $500 a month to pay. So there is a massive incentive on these people that are creating these bots to keep updating them and making them better and better and better.
Totally.
So give it a couple of years and you're never going to be able to get anything new when it comes out. Because it's not just games, but we had this with the graphics cards that came out not long ago. No one could get them.
Yeah.
No one could get them.
Anyway, so the long and short of that story is we don't have new consoles, and Xbox and Nintendo are living in the 80s.
That is the only thing that gives me hope for when the next Nintendo comes out, is that Nintendo is an archaic company that lives in the past. And they're not just going to do an online sale with it. I could have got an Xbox Series S though. I did get one of those in my basket. But I was just like, I don't want an Xbox Series S.
Or you could have bought me one. Oh, have you checked your numbers, by the way?
This has not been done yet. We'll find out later.
Okay.
Anyway, that's all the news for today and that little rant that I had, because I'm actually really passionate about that. And
I enjoyed you ranting.
Oh, it just frustrates me that it's
when
been
you get
drip
the bit
fed.
between your teeth, you are fabulous.
It's like you're playing. It's like when these drop and you're trying to get the console. It's like you're playing Slime Climb and you're caught in the tornado of Fall Guys and you're just being bounced around all over the place, and you have absolutely no control over what you're doing at all.
Yeah. Yeah. So have we got any questions in the chat,
Any
Bestie?
questions in the chat? Yes, Barla asked what that picture was. That was when she was caged for being naughty. I locked her up and was like, no, you live there now, behave. It's the picture that we took Sue Ryder when you're in the
that one
climbing frame.
Okay.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I am quite often a bit wayward.
It was at Sue Ryder Hospice when we were there, when my mum was in there. So that's where that picture's from.
We got on the climbing frame because
we needed a timeout from all the seriousness that was going on of the day.
That's right. And we did have a bit of fun on that climbing frame, as I remember.
Yeah.
I think we were eating sweeties at the same time.
Oh, I was just eating everything at the same time. Me and my aunt were just like going mental, weren't we?
Do you remember you tried to hide the sweetie snake and frighten the nurses?
Yes, I do.
Your brother didn't take that well, did he?
What brother? Anyway, do we have any other questions at all? If not, then I believe that is it. This is a long episode with that rant.
Yeah, you're ranting.
We need to do more rants. We need to do like a whole episode just on that. And I can
could
just
rant
sit
myself,
here
actually.
and rant and rant and rant.
Rant
Right.
and rave.
Where can people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at gamergirl_Miss Brie. That's GMRGRL_MISSBRIE. Come and chat to me and I'll chat back because I'm quite nice like that.
You can find me on Facebook as Ninqueso74, where I stream Sunday to Fridays. And you can also find me here on Twitch, where I do actually stream now on a Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. I've committed myself. And you can also find me on Twitter, as queso_cheeselets.
It's time for the Batman thing.
It is.
Bestie.
It is. Compose.
Ready?
Will Sony and Microsoft ever get this marketing system correct and be able to get their product out to people who actually want them? Find out the questions to these answers, same cheesy time, same cheesy channel.
Actual stories may vary. Rant over. Say goodnight, Bestie.
Good night, bestie.